Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update.
Tejas, straight away, you did your undergrad in the US from a pretty good university. What prompted you to come back to India? And IIM Bangalore में MBA करने के लिए why did you come back? I mean, you have so many better options abroad. What was that move about?
Sure. So going to the US was one of the things that just happened for me, right? I mean, I was in 11th standard, Ruparel College. There was some opportunity to apply for a scholarship. I applied, got it. So my US story is very funny. I'd applied only to one college. Before that, I was supposed to do medicine. A scholarship mila, I went to the US, right? And then I gave up medicine and did engineering instead. So I went to the US. I was there for 5 years. Fantastic time, right? I really loved my experience over there, made a lot of great friends, learned a lot, but always I knew that I want to come back, right? Come back mainly because of family, didn't want to be away from them, once they get older. So that part was clear. The question always was, when is the right time? So after graduation, I was working with a private equity fund called Q Investments. Then the choice was, should I do an MBA there or should I come back and do something? And I knew that if I do an MBA over there, I'll get stuck, right? I mean, I'll probably end up taking a big loan, be there to settle the loan, by which time anyway I've already lost most of my contacts in India. So it will be difficult to move back. And I used to talk to a lot of people who were facing the same dilemma. They always kept saying, yaar, jana tha, lekin gaya nahi wapas. So I said, let me not face this dilemma after 20 years. Might as well bite the bullet and go now. So that's what I did. I came back. It all sounded great when I took this decision, right? I was super charged up, very inspired. I used to watch movies like Swades and all, and I was like, I'll go back to India, light that light bulb, and things will be fantastic. I came back to India. I was depressed as hell. First 3-4 months, like think about the number of things going on in my mind. I was living in the US all happy, fancy job, fancy own apartment, everything. Come back to India again, stay in a small house, share a room, all of that. So, pehle wahan pe kat gaya. Then I was like, ye traffic kya hai, itni garmi kya hai? I was being the worst person possible, being a complete brat. Like, I hate this, I cannot deal with this. Then the job that I was supposed to come back with as my transition job, that also got cancelled because they cancelled the position and I didn't have much of a network at that point in time. So the kind of jobs that I was getting were also ridiculous. It was like call center में चले जाओ या एकदम junior position कुछ IT support का कर लो. So I said नहीं ये भी नहीं हो पाएगा. And I was like अभी CAT करना पड़ेगा because I've not taken the GMAT to apply through the GMAT route. So I moved back to India in 23rd of June 2008, and I was like okay now I'll have to start taking classes for CAT. And see past 5 years, I was completely disconnected from this whole CAT world, right? Everyone here, I think first year onwards is preparing for CAT. So I was like, अच्छा अभी coaching class क्या होता है? किसी को पूछा पुराने दोस्त से they said अच्छा जाओ ये class में जाओ. Then again depression starts, right? Morning 7 a.m. go to a random coaching class in Dadar TT and sit in a crowded bench. I was like, where have I come? But luckily things worked out. Good luck, goodwill from everyone, and managed to get through CAT, luckily because of, so I knew that my quant section, right, I knew I have to answer just X number of questions, at least that was the plan back then, right, X number of questions you have to get right, to ho jayega. And luckily it was that exact X number of questions that worked out for me, otherwise nahi hota tabhi. So luckily it worked out well. And IIM Bangalore is a fantastic place. I had other choices also, but I had heard lots of good stuff about IIM Bangalore. Bangalore as a city itself is great.
क्या था? दूसरा choice क्या था?
तभी लखनऊ था, शिलोंग था, IIT के काफी सारे ये थे, and then Symbiosis के थे. But these were
I think you made the right choice.
other choices at that time. Yes.
Okay, so tell us about your campus life. I think you were also very active when you were on campus. I remember chatting with you from my campus to your campus on Google Chat, and you always seem to be part of something or the other. So what did you do at IIM Bangalore? A lot of people from IIM Bangalore there actually.
Majority of my extracurriculars were focused in the cultural committee, so Culcom. In my second year, I was heading the events vertical. And it was fantastic. So again, over there also decision was very clear, right? there are two big clubs in IIM Bangalore back then. Now I'm a little disconnected from campus, so I don't know all the things that go on. But back then, two big clubs, FII, Culcom. All I knew is that FII is the serious group, Culcom is the fun group. I was like, I want to be in Culcom. I cannot do this serious stuff, go to corporates, meet them, all of that, because that is life, right? After 2 years, that is going to be life. So it's like, let me enjoy this last hurrah of being in college and have a great time. And Culcom was fantastic.
So then you got an internship at Booz and Company, which is now called Strategy and has been acquired by, I think, PwC. Was consulting always part of your plan that you wanted to join consulting? Tell us about that.
Consulting was, in fact, always part of the plan. During engineering days, I didn't know much about these things, right? I used to do my assignments. I used to work on-campus jobs, all of that. But I didn't know about consulting and stuff. When I moved back, took CAT classes, started understanding, acha, B school ke baad hota kya hai? So one of my friends told me about consulting as a profession, and I found it very exciting. I was like, fantastic, you don't have to commit to anything so early on. You get to learn so much. This is the ideal place, ideal thing that I want to do. So it's just ironic that back then you have to write statement of purpose also to get into colleges. So I had written that I want to do consulting, and here is why. And it worked out that way. So even when I got shortlist for summer placements, and I had put in a lot of fight, right? Sub consulting company ko jaake mil ke aata that, I want to do consulting, here is why. Sub seniors ko jaake mil ke aata that I want to do consulting, here is why. When the shortlist came, I got only one consulting shortlist and 5 bank shortlists. And I was completely disconnected from financial services. I was not interested. So Booz was the one shortlist. It got converted, and I ended up doing an internship there.
Okay, and you also got a PPO
Yes.
post that.
Yes, yes.
So I think post that you worked for what, a year?
Almost 2.5 years with Booz.
2.5 years of Booz. Yeah,
I
clearly.
know. It was a good time.
What I find fascinating is that I honestly know very few, maybe now there are more because now the startup scene has exploded in India in general. But back then, I don't remember a lot of people actually taking the plunge. I mean, it's not that you had already become, a senior person in the industry either. Like you were just 2.5 years into the industry. And what made you take the call that, okay, I'm going to go and start a company of my own? I think it was a really gutsy thing to do back then. So gutsy from the sense that you are the opportunity cost of losing out on something versus starting something. So I think you started Euphoric immediately after that. So for people who don't know, Euphoric was I think an app that helped you capture memories from your wedding. So was it connected to your own wedding? What made you, take the entrepreneurial plunge?
Sure. So the first part as to why did I want to do entrepreneurship? Always wanted to do it. So it was a dream that I had harbored since childhood. During my time at Booz and Company, I started getting to a stage where I guess what you and Ken said earlier, right? Sometimes you know when the time is right and you want to take that plunge. So I got to that point, right? Within 2.5 years, I was like, yeah, if I have to do it, I have to do it now. So that was the inner calling. And financially, of course, it was still a tricky situation. I mean, I was constantly saving up so that someday when I get a chance, I can use it. So I had some savings, but as Ankit is saying, absolutely right. I was not really a senior person in the industry at that point in time, but that also worked in my favor because whichever seniors I would talk to, they kept on saying that your opportunity cost only increases. If you have to do it now. So I took that piece of advice. Euphoric, the first inspiration, yes, was my wedding. So and it was a very clear insight over there. So I got married in November 2012. And up until, I think, almost July of 2013, my wedding album had not come in. and it was very frustrating, right? Because we had like so many photographers, everyone's taken photos. And the only photos that I'm getting to see is what people are sharing with me on Facebook. So that was the starting point. Then we wanted to create this whole ecosystem around wedding management. So how do you manage RSVPs? How do you provide a customized wedding app? So back then, most of the wedding apps were all Western, right? And we wanted to create a very Indian concept. So that was the genesis of it. It did well in terms of we got traction. I think we got like 1,000+ weddings in a few months done through the app. Commercially, we were not able to crack the model at that point in time. So that was that was the challenge.
What did you learn from your euphoric experience, which then led you to try another startup after that? Like you did not get back to the industry. You said, okay, I'm going to give it another try with a new business. So what did you learn from euphoric?
So what Euphoric taught me is that, see, weddings is not really my expertise, but I can still do something, right? I mean, we were able to go out there in the market and start selling a concept. So that gave me some inner confidence कि ये कर सकते हैं. You know, you can always invent yourself or reinvent yourself to be able to do something new. Main learning also from Euphoric was don't wait too long. So, you know, classic startup thinking is, you know, do MVP and, you know, launch and get feedback. And we were not doing that, right? We waited a long time to actually launch the product. And by which point in time, you know, we've started running out of funds. You don't have enough customer feedback. So you're not able to justify what you're doing. And the second learning in that was if you have to make a business work, do whatever it takes, right? I mean, don't shut shop until you have, you know, pretty much knocked on all the doors and all the doors have closed. And that's something that we didn't do again, right? I mean, even today, it's funny. I mean, it's been so many years since the time we have shut. But every now and then I'll still get a call saying, हमको wedding करना है, आपका app चाहिए. And I'll be like, नहीं, ये बंद हो चुका है. So we had hit upon the right idea, but we didn't persevere. So next startup, Eat Express, that was in the food services space. It was a cloud kitchen based out of Powai. And there I said, you know, at least this, I will go with the MVP model, right? I will not wait until everything falls into place. And that's what I did. I mean, to quickly test out the concept, I created a random name of a restaurant and I just started serving food online. And it worked. I was like, okay, aise traction aata hai. Then you get some learning, then you improvise. And it went off quite well, actually. We got very good traction for Eat Express. For quite some time, you were one of the highest rated delivery kitchens in Powai area. I had also, so that
What was your most ordered dish?
So it's on weekdays it's usually dal khichdi. Weekends it's biryani and tandoori chicken. That's the most.
I mean, for anybody who ever wants to start a company, I just want to say that I once visited Tejas, you know, at his kitchen in Andheri or Chandivli. It's just, I mean, you know, what we see on an app or what we see is one thing. When you actually go on the floor and look at, okay, you know, what orders are coming in, people are making the food and it's getting, you know, sent off. I think that experience just kind of fills you with so much optimism and hope and makes you feel really, really good. Because I think a lot of people just focus on the numbers around, you know, how big a company is. I think what truly matters is, you know, when the actual operation is going on. I mean, I just want to know, so what, I mean, if you're doing so well, why is it that you thought that this, I think what it went on for more than 2 years, right?
Yeah.
So why did you eventually decide to kind of move on from that as well?
It did well, right? But then it did hit quite a few snags also ultimately. So this was a purely bootstrapped venture. And I was almost getting to a point where, you know, I want to start raising money from external investors. But that time there was this major food tech pessimism that had crept in. Several startups had gone down. So people were not really too enthused to invest money into another food startup at that point in time. Second was in terms of running a food kitchen. The operations is incredibly complex, right? And you have to have a very different mindset and skill set to be able to deal with it. I took a call in life saying that, you know, I don't see myself doing this long term. Of course, finance is running, money is running out, but at the same time, I don't want to be this person that I am right now because I can't do this, right? I did it well, but that's not my long-term plan. So at which point in time I said, it's better to now wind down and go back to what I'm more comfortable with.